Hello and welcome to another episode of All Elite Arcade. It is Monday. If you know anything about us here at AEW Games, Monday is the day we talk video games, and we have played a decent amount of video games this week, have we not, the Chugs?
Yes, we have played quite a bit, specifically of one game,
Yes.
but nonetheless, we have played quite a bit. I have gotten to play some other really exciting titles as well. But yes, this once again, Uno, this was the week of Silksong.
Oh yes,
it very much was the week of Silksong.
Heavily dominated. I genuinely dominated all of my time, with the exception of I used the Virtual Console to play some Mario Picross because I got too mad at playing Silksong and needed something calming in between. But other than that, I mean, I think you're in the same boat as me, but I must have put in probably 15 hours of Silksong this week. And why not start with Silksong? I think everyone's anticipating it. I think also everyone is likely playing it this week. It seems like everyone I talked to has got some time on there. MXM was playing it when we were recording content this weekend. Nice. Every friend I ever talked to through this week is somewhere in Act 1 right now. Let's start with Silksong. So last week we talked about it at nauseam. We talked so much about how we enjoyed it. I want to say it is no different this week, but I will say this. If it was challenging in the first parts of Act 1, I am now reaching parts that I'm starting to understand why people are getting mad at this game, because I am in this pattern lock right now where I have 4 different bosses I could fight, but I need to fight at least one of them to reach to new areas, because I'm the type who will just scan the full game every time I can to, like, especially if I look at my map and I see there's a little entrance that I've never been to, I'm like, I need to find how to get in there.
And same, we talked about this actually briefly before, but yeah, the second I get any sort of new ability, and I know you're the exact same way, like you said, you just retrace the entire map, whether it's an item or a new area. And in this game, you have no idea what it's going to be.
Yes.
It might be a whole new section. It might be a collectible. You don't know. Most of the time, there's going to be some challenging enemies there as well. But yeah, so much to this as far as exploration.
There's so many secrets. On what you were saying, that you get skills, you get extra, charms or wherever it may be. You find a lot of side characters. I've been finding side characters in the oddest places, like very challenging courses to find a character to be like, how did you get here? Like, most characters are very surprised to find you there. Every little bit is rewarding. I feel like you're constantly finding something. And this is a little bit of a slight towards the game, but usually what happens is that I find the bosses are less rewarding to beat than finding locations, because the bosses typically don't give you a lot of currency, but they're usually used to lock out sections where there will be skills, or they will be new powers, or there will be a new town. So you're not getting actual rewards from the fight itself, but you are getting to areas that get it. All to say, this game's great. The secrets have been incredible, what I have found. I've even found secrets that let you skip whole sections. I'm now in Act 2. In a way that I didn't presume I was going to be in Act 2. I just mysteriously landed in Act 2 out of nowhere as I was exploring things. But the bosses are at this point now where I'm realizing, like, if there is another act, because I assume this is not a 2-act game, there's at least got to be a third. If it's anything like major storytelling of all kinds, it's got to be either 3, 4, or 5. I don't know how much harder it can get, because I am at a point where the 4 bosses I have fought, I think I have fought every one of them upwards of 50 times each, and I am not anywhere close to completing them. It's humbling me. Truthfully, this game has been humbling me.
Which that makes me incredibly nervous, Uno, because once again, I also put quite a bit of time into Silksong. I think it says on Steam before you open the game, it says 26 hours, but in game, I think I'm at 21 and a half or close to 22 hours. I'm still on Act 1. I have not gotten to Act 2 yet. Again, I try to be as thorough as possible and go through and explore as much stuff as I can. But at the same time, there are bosses that I've encountered that I've been stuck 3, 4, 5 hours on.
Yep.
like for a very, very long time. And I'm just still in the starting section of the game. I've noticed too, because I did want to mention is this game is absolutely very challenging. But I think the cool thing that Team Cherry did, number one, a lot of these bosses, they hit for double damage.
Yes.
So you have less chance to make mistakes. You got to be on your game. Also, they seem to be loving to add like additional enemies to these boss fights. I felt like in Hollow Knight, it was more 1v1. Of course, you would run into bosses that did spawn in other enemies, but in this game, it seems to happen often. However, this game has forced me to start using and get used to the tools that the game gives you access to. And I'm thinking the reason they went this approach is because the amount of damage that Hornet can do in a short amount of time, if you're using those tools properly, is significant.
Yes.
So it's almost like a different play. It still is a Hollow Knight game, but it really is a different approach to combat, specifically boss fights, that I am definitely getting used to and really, really loving. But man, it is so difficult. So difficult.
Yeah, and plus there's so much variety to it. I know I'm practically running the most basic of setups. I haven't changed my crest. I've added in some charms, but I haven't changed. So like there are different crests in this that change the form of your attacks. Either the length of your attack is shorter but faster, or it's longer but slower. The downward attack changes entirely. I'm still playing with the base diagonal attack that Hornet does, but there are I've found 4 crests as of yet. And you can also level up these crests. I found one way to level it up. I don't know how to level all of them, but there are others that have, the pogo style attack, where they have a similar downward attack, or they have a different upward attack that gives you extra mobility. It really suits your playstyle the way you want. And then if you add in the variety of tools, which I was not using at first at all because I was very stubborn about it, and now I rely so heavily on my poison attacks from these tools. That's been my majority of how I use them. I also started using tacks, which you can put them on the ground when it's ground enemies. They could get hit and slows them down shortly.
Oh, cool.
But I think you are right. I think it is designed to force you to use the new systems, because the tools were not present in the first game. You had to just bob and weave around anything. Now they add extra enemies to the screen. They even have... We talked about this one, and we will not talk about this boss, but this boss has challenged both of us. There is a boss that spawns extra characters, and on top of extra characters...
Minor spoilers. Minor spoilers for everybody.
I believe, called Savage Beast.
Savage Beastfly. Yes.
Beastfly.
Which very quickly, I just want to say, but I was stuck on that boss for a really long time, but what a boss theme.
Yes.
I love the boss
Great
theme.
music.
So good.
Great music. So I am also at this Beastfly. I will say no more after that. There's extra details. But I am at this Beastfly. It also doesn't stick to a single screen. Where a lot of other bosses are locked into the square of a screen, this one can extend, and so you have to follow it to find out what it's going to do next sometimes. So what ends up happening is that it's a boss that takes a lot of screen space if it swipes across the screen. That's like an entire half of your screen. You either have to leap above it, or you have to get below it, or it has an upward attack, you have to dodge it, and that takes like a third of the screen. But you can't see where it is when it goes off screen, and it has extra enemies. It is so challenging to manage all of these systems. But when I do complete these bosses, it feels like Elden Ring, or it feels like Dark Souls, where you finally do it, and that rush of like, I'm incredible. No one can beat me at video games. That is like the greatest feeling of all. But I have succumbed to the doubt that I will beat this game a few times, where I've put it down. I said, okay, come back tomorrow, because if you keep doing this, you're going to break your Switch too.
Right. No, we are definitely going to do it. It might take us some time, but man, I'm enjoying the ride so much.
Me too.
And going off too of what you're saying as well with different combinations, it's been so fun and intricate and interesting to see all the different combinations you can do. I am just going to call them charms as far as the things that you can equip on your crest, which, by the way, I am using the crest of the Wanderer, which is the close slashes, but very, very fast, and also the traditional pogo. So it feels more like I'm playing Hollow Knight, which I really, really enjoy. And being able to do so much damage at a short amount of time. However, you have to be incredibly close to the enemy, so it's a little bit riskier. But also, too, I have these two charm combinations that, once again, are fairly early in the game. There is one that, for example, I have this ability where if I'm healing, it creates this shield around me, where depending on the timing of the enemy hitting me, it can actually kind of do damage or stagger the enemy, which is really, really cool. And then I got another charm that is amazing, that has saved me so many times, where your last hit of what would be fatal damage, it gives you a second try. So you get like one extra hit, which is really, really awesome and huge.
That's often all I need.
Yeah, it's massive. But then I got this new tool as well that's like an explosion. It's like a bomb that causes like fire damage, which is really, really cool. But you mentioned poison, and there is something that you can get that attaches venom to your tools. So this is just such a cool detail. When you equip that charm or that item to create venom on your tool, it literally not only changes the function of that tool, but it also changes the color. Like normally this bomb is red, but then when I equip that, the bomb turns purple, and it still does that fire damage, but it also does venom damage. Like they thought of so much stuff for this game, so much stuff. And I feel like, honestly, both of us are still scratching the surface on what this game is going to bring to the table. You're seeing it a little bit in Act 2 with how difficult it is. That just makes me so incredibly nervous, but so exciting. There is, I can't get over. We said this game was going to be huge. It's huge. It's massive.
It's massive. And I'm glad they didn't tell us anything, because I love
me too.
Finding out this crest system. I love playing around with it. In fact, I think I should play around more with it, because I'm at this point where I cannot seem to get through these bosses. But if I explored, I think the crest a little more, it would definitely help. I'm still at the base crest, so I'm still doing all the base attacks, but I've gone very deep into this poison damage. I ended up using the crest that adds poison damage to your tools. I have a long distance tool that has multiple shots, and so I could per a single try, I could do like 30 attacks of damage. And then I have another one that essentially adds an extra bit of health, like an extra health mask, but only for 20 seconds. And if it get ruptured, if you get attacked, it makes an explosion. And now that explosion on top of it is poisonous. So that's been my secondary one, is to put that on, get myself as close as I can and hit as many times, take one of damage, but blow it up, poison it, and continue my stuff. It's been very useful for a lot of bosses, but I'm very much so at a part now that I think it will only ramp up, and I think it will ramp up even more so in Act 3. I'm hoping, though, because there is a steady amount of upgrades to this game. I feel like every few hours I reach a new location, and I'm getting something new that changes at least the verticality and the platforming element of the game. So I'm very excited to see what more is there Act 2 onwards, because I'm still very early in Act 2. I refuse to just rush through it. I'm much like you. I'm trying to explore as much as possible.
I feel like this game has put you in so many situations where you could miss NPC interactions. You could miss big moments within areas if you just advance the game too far. That's another reason I am so glad that I keep running through everything again. Like it always adds so much time. But man, I'm interacting with NPCs. There are moments, I'm not going to say anything. There are moments in areas that are so out of nowhere and so exciting that I feel like I could have missed if I would have just kept going.
Yes.
So Team Cherry's thought of everything. I know I keep saying that, but it is absolutely, like, for example, I saw this the other day. I had killed a couple of enemies in Hunter's March, really challenging early area for me. And I had killed them, and obviously these enemies drop shards. There's little ants on the ground. Those little ants will pick up the shards and move them. Like,
yes, they will.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
And this is a indication to anyone that is actively playing it right now. If you do not revisit the towns, you will be missing a lot. One, there's a lot of side missions there, but there's actual like story beats that happen. I feel like every time I go back to Bone Bottom or and there, I don't want to display what the other cities are, but at least Bone Bottom, that's the starting city. Every time I've gone back, there's been an event. Either the dialogue changes with people, a person that wasn't at this village is now there, a character you might have met on your travels ends up at Bone Bottom. Sometimes no one is in the village, which is even more terrifying. So then you have to go seek them out, and that leads to more events. There's some very, very neat little story beats that even in the first game, there were a little bit of these things, but it does not seem as intense and as spread out and as thorough as it is here in Silksong.
And also going off of what you're saying, again, I am not going to say the town. I'm not going to say what happens, but there was one particular bench in one town that I sat in at one point, and then I had to stop. I had to turn the game off, go eat, go do something. And when I came back and opened the game back up, something special happened because I chose to sit at that bench. Like it was so wild. It was so cool.
You will have to give me an indication off screen then.
I will. I will definitely tell you. Like I'll tell you off the podcast just in case. But yeah, it's I feel like we're going to be talking about this game for weeks and weeks. Honestly, years and years to come. This game feels like a once in a lifetime video game. It's so unbelievable and so tough. So tough.
Yes. So it's been incredible, and I'm sure all of you are also playing, or if you are not playing, I hope you will. It's well worth it. And if you've not played the original game either, Hollow Knight, well worth playing as well. Great quality Metroidvanias. If not the two best Metroidvanias I think I've ever played. They're at least in the top 5, I think, universally. Go out of your way, go play Silksong, available on everything right now.
Yeah.
And if you are playing Silksong and you have a favorite moment, do let us know in the comments down below, youtube.com/AEW Games. Would love to hear about it. Do not get too spoilery though. If you're in Act 3, don't even say anything. Don't say a thing about Act 3.
Don't even think about talking about in Act 3.
Don't even talk about it. Please don't give me any major spoilers, but if you have like a nice little interaction that you really enjoy, let me know, because I feel like I'm missing all kinds of interactions, because a lot of times I visit a character, don't make note on my map that character is there, and then 20 hours later realize I probably should have gone to see this character again. So
dude, this too is one of those games that when I do eventually finish it, I can't wait to watch like 10 secrets you missed in Hollow Knight Silksong, because there's a million of them. A million of them.
And the lore videos are going to be incredible, because everyone's got a little story in this game.
There's so much juicy lore in this game. So much juicy lore.
So on my side, that's actually all I played. I played a lot of this game. And I played, like I said, a little bit. I played a little bit of Mario Picross. There's not much to talk about that. That's just a Picross game. That is my easy calm down game. Usually it's that or Tetris. But I know, Chugs, you played a little more stuff. What else did you have on your plate this week?
A little bit more. Once again, I'm just briefly going to mention it, similar to what you were just saying. I don't have too much to add as far as Pokemon trading card game Pocket, other than I have one more expert battle to do. So I've gotten really, really into the battles. So I have one more, which is the, I believe, Poliwrath EX battle that I need to do with the most recent pack, which is very cool. So almost got all those battles out of the way. But in addition to, so again, I think I've mentioned this before, but I am playing Silksong on my own on my Steam Deck with my own personal file. But also at the same time, I am playing through Silksong on Switch 2 on stream. So I want to do an entire streamed playthrough of Hollow Knight Silksong, and I'm doing my own playthrough. But in addition to that, I now have a 2-game cycle. So in addition to Silksong, I am also going through my very first playthrough. I am not playing this game off stream. My very first playthrough of Clair Obscure Expedition 33. Again, I recently finished Act 1 of this absolutely incredible game. Once again, go out of your way to play that. I'm not going to say a single thing about the story because I feel like it's something everyone should experience. I said this last week, but the battles are getting very interesting in such a cool way. Again, I do feel like the battles are getting more difficult, which makes sense, obviously, the further that you go on, but also the battles are getting so much longer. where you have to play well for such a longer amount of time, which I really, really enjoy. Like last stream, for example, I encountered this one enemy that pretty much every turn he shielded himself 4 or 5 times. So not only would I have to go out of the way to eliminate those shields, but then I had to weaken something on this enemy to even allow myself to do any sort of damage. So I'm needing to dodge 9, 12, 15 times per turn, and then I'm also doing only a little bit of damage. Now, there's a very good chance that I was doing this battle incorrectly, and there was something that could have made it easier. But the way that I figured it out and the way I was able to do it was this way, which I love. It adds so much tension and so much excitement. Again, traditionally, turn-based RPGs games obviously are very, very fun, but this one is so interactive where you have to be on your toes. You have to be so focused. If you're good enough to be able to do parries, I've been able to do that for some enemies, but for this boss specifically, I'm like, I'm not even risking it. I'm just dodging. And again, this enemy that I encountered, it was an optional boss in a completely optional area. So there is a ton of hidden stuff in this game. The battles are super fun. I can only imagine how intricate these fights and these battles are going to get, and I'm loving it every step of the way. I've said before, this may be the first year ever where I can't decide my game of the year between Expedition 33 and Silksong. I really...
It's a rough year for these. I mean, it's an incredible year for games, but
incredible
to figure out what my top game right now, I still don't know. It's
impossible. It's exactly. I'm going to need to think about it till December 31st or whatever. But it's God, to be able to play these two games back to back on stream has been such a joy. Just two excellent titles that, again, I really feel are like once in a lifetime titles. They really are. But in addition to that, I really wish I could have said more about this, because later tonight after we film this podcast, I'm going to put hours into this game. But I am a huge Borderlands fan.
Yeah,
absolutely massive Borderlands fan. And I got the chance to play about an hour and a half of Borderlands 4. And let me tell you, it's fun. It's really fun. Again, in the beginning portion, they kind of set up the story for you and what's going to be happening going forward, which I won't really dive into. The tutorial area, or the tutorial level, is really cool. I've now made it to this big open world section. But generally speaking, once again, the combat feels really good. All the favorite stuff that you love about Borderlands is there, with the looter shooter aspect of it. I love too, they did add this where you can replay bosses super easily just to loot grind. Which I think is such an excellent idea, because that's such a big thing within Borderlands for sure. So I'm playing Borderlands 4 on PC, and for me, I did not have any hiccups. I'm running at 1440p, 60 frames per second though, but I had absolutely no issues. The game ran great. It was super fun to play, feels super smooth, looks great. I'm gonna have a lot more to say about Borderlands 4 next week, because I'm definitely later tonight putting quite a bit of time into it. But yeah, I just wanted to let everyone know I did start Borderlands 4, and it's been really fun so far. Looks and sounds great.
And a lot of people have been loving it. It's been getting great reviews as of yet. I also intend to play it, so I will probably have some time on it before we talk about it next week. With the exception, the main thing that people are talking about, there are some hiccups on Steam depending on what kind of rig you are running with.
I'm playing on Steam.
So there could be some slowdown. There could be some stuff. Hopefully a patch will come in and patch and optimize that a little bit. But as far as the console versions, they seem to be running incredibly well, and most people are loving it. Plus, it's you're back to that 4-player co-op mode if you want. It's got all the old features, and it does seem like humor-wise, it is more leaning on 2 than it was on 3, from what I have seen. So I'm very excited to play more Borderlands 4.
And you're right. From the little bit that I've played, it definitely seems more like in that category. Also, the main villain, who I just met, he does seem very interesting. I want to know more about this guy. And also, again, I do love the idea of it being like a full-blown open world. I think, especially for a looter-shooter genre, that's a really cool aspect of this game, especially playing with friends. So I've never played a Borderlands game 4-player co-op before, ever. So I'm really excited tonight to give that a go. I think it's going to be really fun. But yeah, playing on Steam, so far so good. Everything's been fine. Like you said, Uno, I think they'll probably send a patch out here soon, but so far for me, it's been fine. And I'm excited to talk more about it next week.
As am I. And then before we go into the news, unless do you have everything? That's all your games you've played, right?
That's it.
Before we go into news, we want to implement this new thing. Our producers have been asking us to implement this in. They want to ask us questions. They want to see our trivia knowledge. And so, in the very first producer's quiz, here on Uno and Chugs. I'm going to ask us a question. I also don't know the answers to this. We're going to reveal the questions in the third segment. That is during our arcade mailbag. But Chugs, here is the question.
Yes.
The very first question of our producer's quiz. What are the top 5 selling PS1 games in the U.S. in total dollars earned? This coming, if you did not know, PlayStation just turned 30 years old in America
30.
on September 9th. That was just a few days ago. All right. Chugs, I'll let you pick 5, and then I will go and pick 5 myself.
Okay. Also, recently, I know I mentioned this last week, but with it being the 30th anniversary, I did recently get the 30th anniversary PlayStation Portal for you to be able to play cloud versions of your PlayStation 5 games. So far, so good. I've only used it from home, but it's ran great. For First Berserker Kazan worked wonderfully. So yeah, and I love that 30th anniversary aesthetic, that traditional
It's a beautiful
PS1
device. It's a beautiful
It's
device.
a beauty. It's a beauty. But I think I know the answer to number 1.
Okay.
I won't necessarily, I definitely can't name, I'm probably going to get the top 5 wrong, honestly, but I'm 99% sure that Gran Turismo is the best selling PlayStation 1 game of all time, because I remember being, I don't want to say shocked, but I was convinced that Final Fantasy VII was going to be number 1. But I think those two are in the top 5. I think Gran Turismo is number 1. I think Final Fantasy VII, I think Resident Evil, I think Resident Evil 2, I think Metal Gear Solid, and I think Final Fantasy VIII. That's my top 5.
Okay.
That's my top 5. I'm being a little biased because also that's my trifecta: FF7, Metal Gear Solid, and Resident Evil 2.
Those were the games you would have picked up for sure.
Oh man, yeah. But that's going to be my top 5.
I think so. I think you're right on some of them for sure. I think Gran Turismo, we were talking this off screen just real quickly. I'm pretty certain that's right, because I remember picking up Gran Turismo or maybe Gran Turismo 2 and thinking, and people just being like, this is the best game of all time. So I'm going to say Gran Turismo 2.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. That might be good. Yeah.
I'm going to say Final Fantasy 7.
Gotta be.
Crash Bandicoot.
Okay. Good choice.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yep.
And while I think Resident Evil did well, I don't know if it did better on PlayStation. So I'm going to go wild here and say Legend of Dragoon.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, kind of nice. Out of left field, but I remember how beloved it was on PS1. So we will see what the best 5 best-selling PS1 games in the U.S. in total dollars earned will be at the very end of our episode during our arcade mailbag. But
I love these questions.
Me too. Actually, it does make a little spin on this stuff, because I love to at least try the trivia. I'm not good at trivia at anything but video games and wrestling, so I'm very curious to see what we did coming in. But that's not all. We actually have a bunch of news to discuss, because it's been a big news week. If you did not know, it's the Super Mario Brothers 40th anniversary this week, and it came with a bunch of news. We're going to talk about that right after this. And we're back. It's time to talk the news of the week. And if you did not know, there's been a lot of news this week because we got an over 1 hour long Nintendo Direct this week. We'll also talk about Acclaim. Acclaim talked about 9 games they've been releasing, as well as other news. But the big one by far, and this one had a bunch of bangers, a lot of interesting stuff to talk about, and that is the Nintendo Direct. It came out around the 40th anniversary of Super Mario, and so Super Mario was definitely the star of the first 30 minutes of this package. Starting with, we're getting a brand new Super Mario movie, and it's the Super Mario Galaxy movie. We saw a short teaser. From my understanding, everyone from the first movie, all the voices are back. They have not disclosed who the main enemy is in this one, and they actually haven't shown a whole lot of it, but it will be coming out I believe early next year. They did not disclose a date, but they did start doing the teasing on it. And I know for one, I think we talked about this on the stream. I love the first movie. I
loved it.
I went in assuming there was no way it was going to be good, and it was the perfect amount of length. It was like 85 minutes. And seriously, a blast. Great music. I still think of Bowser singing. I'm a big Jack Black fan as well. So I'm very excited for the Super Mario Galaxy movie coming out very, very soon.
Me too. Again, the first Super Mario movie was excellent. I have no question in my mind this second one is going to be great. So pumped. In addition to having the like galaxy area to play with, which is really, really exciting. But also, don't forget my favorite character, the homie Yoshi. Yoshi was teased at the very end of the first Mario movie. So they didn't say anything about Yoshi, but he's got to be there. Yoshi's got to be there in the Galaxy movie. He has to be.
Yeah, and I would assume also not Pauline. What is the name of the princess?
Rosalina?
Rosalina must be in this too, right? Because if it's Galaxy, yes. I assume that is how we get there as well. Right, and that's actually not all the Galaxy news. They also disclosed that Galaxy 1 and 2 will be making their return digitally in October, so you'll be able to buy either Galaxy or Galaxy 2 on Switch and Switch 2 as separately or as a bundle, and then a physical release will be coming out next year as well. There's also amiibos attached to Galaxy, so they're really investing in this Galaxy thing. I do want to make a quick note about this. I think it is kind of wild that they're selling both of these $40 each when All-Stars had Galaxy in it only a year and a half ago. But I remember we had a big discussion, me and my friends, about how they released All-Stars, which had, I believe, 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy in it.
Yes.
And then they removed it from sale 3 months later, and we all wondered why. It would seem this is the reason why.
Right. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I remember when they released that collection thinking like, oh my God, this is so cool. It's so awesome they did it. But I could not for the life of me understand why they removed it so quickly, how you could only get it for a short amount of time. You're exactly right. Mm-hmm. That's why.
So they want to sell it piecemeal. They did not sell you Galaxy 2, which I remember when the All-Stars came out, I was like, I cannot believe it. I want that game so bad. So I'll say this, I will at least purchase Super Mario Galaxy 2 strictly because it's easier to travel around with it, and that will be coming out very, very soon. And that's not all. Man, they did a lot of Mario updates. They announced a brand new Mario Tennis called Mario Tennis Fever. I love the Mario Tennis game from GameCube. Huge fan. I also liked, I believe Switch 1 had a release as well. I enjoyed that one as well. This one comes out February 12th of next year. It has full online features, obviously local play as well, and there is a complete adventure mode that includes like fighting monsters at tennis, doing puzzles with tennis games, as well as a small open world to traverse around. It looks very exciting. I'm glad that we're getting more Mario Tennis.
Me too. And how creative all the different rackets look and stuff. Like it looks like it's going to be a really fun Mario Tennis game.
Mm-hmm. Then they, this is another one. They're like doing updates to games that are a decade old. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which I believe came out back in the Switch. So that's like early Switch days.
No, I think, God, it was last year, or the year before.
For Wonder? Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mario Wonder's a fairly new title.
Okay, I'm thinking 3D World. I'm thinking 3D World.
Yes.
Okay, that makes more sense. Well, let's get a Nintendo Switch 2 update. A bunch of new content, including a new mode called Meetup in Bella Bell Park that is really focused on the multiplayer experience. They showed a bunch of the multiplayer games that you can play. It will be out in spring next year. And truthfully, the multiplayer stuff looks really fun. Like it looks like its own different Mario Party game. I'm actually excited to give this a shot.
Me too. And it looks like there's more stages as well. So I loved Mario Wonder. That's been my favorite 2D Mario since Mario World. So I love the idea of getting new stuff, more stuff in the Mario Wonder universe. It looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. They also, your man Yoshi is also back in Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, another one of those side-scrolling games that they've been doing that has like, they've done yarn, they've done all kinds of stuff. This one looks like a storybook game with pop-up art and stuff. That will be coming out sometime next spring. It visually looks stunning. I don't know what the gameplay will be like, though.
It looks beautiful. Uno, immediately when they showed this, I thought this was a remake of Yoshi's Story on Nintendo 64 at first. But now it's its whole new game, which is even better. But yeah, like you said, the art style is great. Yoshi's in it, so you can't go wrong. I for sure want to pick this one up day one.
And then, so we'll get in. I'm going to skip a lot of the indie releases, but I'll say them in passing. Stormlancers, they did a same-day release on a hack-and-slash game. Dinkum, which is a farming game / survival game that's been on Steam for a while, is now coming to Switch. Popucom, I don't know how you say this, but this one did actually look interesting. It was... Think Bubble Bobble, where you have to unite the colored balls together to make them explode. Except it was a first-person shooter puzzle mechanic game where, let's say you fought a boss that was a giant snake, you would have to fire green balls to the green balls to destroy a section, red balls to the red balls to destroy a section. It looked very fascinating. That, I believe, will come out this winter. They showed Tomodachi Life. Its release window will be next year spring. This was a thing that we saw, I believe, a few months ago already. That is another one using the Miis. It's like a Animal Crossing survival game sim, but using the Miis. They showed that Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is coming to Switch 2 in October, and a physical release will be coming out a little later on. This one looked visually stunning. I've only played one Dragon Quest game in the entirety of my life. But this one, I don't know what about it. It made me think of Final Fantasy IX a whole lot.
Yeah.
But Dragon Quest VII Reimagined launches on February 5th, and it's like a remake of Dragon Quest VII, but completely different visuals. They kind of have like a chibi element to it, as well as like what looks like all of the fights, or at least the overworld, looks like it's on a board game. It looks very stunning. I'm very excited to give this a shot. That'll be out February 5th. Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is coming to Switch 2. That'll be the 22nd of January. And then, now we're going to get into some real big ones, because they knocked... Man, they did a lot. If you thought Nintendo was going in heavy with the Mario stuff, they dropped a bunch of stuff here. Hades 2 is getting their full release in 2 weeks, September 25th. And I just started the early access a few weeks ago. I'm only 10 hours in. I am so excited that it's happening on Switch 2 because it comes out the day before I have a 16-hour flight to Japan. A perfect time for Hades 2. If you've never played Hades, you can grab the first game. It's incredible. You'll have a blast. But if you want to jump into the second one, it's got all these extra mechanics to it. Hades 2, September 25th. Incredible music, beautiful art, a great roguelike game.
I'm so excited to jump into this, because I played some of Hades 1 and really enjoyed it. And same thing, I had the early access version of Hades 2, but I never jumped into it. So the fact that we're getting a full release so soon, and like you said, that's a perfect handheld game. Handheld game. It's going to look beautiful on that Switch 2 screen as well.
Yeah, and it's the type of game that you can put in 40 minutes, disappear, and you've made a little bit incremental advancements. I like the loop in those games a whole lot. Yeah. Very excited that we're getting that on Switch 2, and so soon as well.
Yeah.
They also reminded us that this November, Kirby Air Riders is coming out as well. They announced some amiibos directly from that, and which is fascinating. We already had a 40-minute Kirby Air Riders Direct. They've now said, hey, guess what? We have a second part where we're going to tell you about extra content. I think last week we teased this a little bit, how Kirby Air Raiders looks like it's going to have more to it than what it seems. At least the people that had played it at Gamescom were saying, I think this game is bigger than people think. Well, it looks like that might be the case, because we are getting another Direct, I believe, next week about Kirby Air Riders. This is the second one they're doing. They've already talked about 40 minutes. I don't know what else they're going to show, but I'm very excited to see more of it.
I love it.
Then, November 6th, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment will be releasing. This is the Hyrule Warriors. That's the hack and slash Dynasty Warriors style game, but for Hyrule / Zelda, based, I believe, on the latest Zelda game. So the Tears of a Kingdom. It is a prequel to Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, exactly. So it follows all of the champions that are discussed in that game. Follows Zelda. That comes out on November 6th, and it looks great. It visually looks stunning, and co-op and all that. It looks very fun.
Dude, Uno, every time I see footage of this game, I'm like, I can't wait to play it. I've never played a Hyrule Warriors game or a Dynasty Warriors game, and they all look really, really cool. But this Hyrule Warriors, this prequel to Tears of the Kingdom, looks incredible. Zelda looks so awesome. All the different people you can use look incredible. The damage you can do. I am definitely playing this. It looks so sick. It looks so sick.
It's fascinating because I feel like obviously PS5 and probably Xbox are on the last years of their cycle, so it feels like we're not seeing a lot of proper IPs coming out, whereas Nintendo feels like, for the first time ever, I feel like I have 9 Nintendo games in the next 6 months to play, and it's an incredible feeling. Okay, this one is by far the weirdest thing they announced. We're getting the Virtual Boy. We're getting titles from the Virtual Boy. 14 games confirmed already in the Nintendo Classics catalog. They arrived February 17th, but the thing that is incredible about this is they built a peripheral that looks exactly like the Virtual Boy that you can slot your Switch 2 in and actually play the VR mode with. I don't know if you own a Virtual Boy. That thing gives you headaches like crazy.
Yeah, I based on my current situation and circumstance, I don't know how much Virtual Boy I'll be playing. However, I lost my mind. I was live streaming this entire Nintendo Direct. I love video game preservation. I love video games history. I love that Nintendo has continued over and over again to put these older titles and this older hardware in the forefront. Like this is just an unbelievable collector's item to have. They're continuing to build on this expansion pack version of the Nintendo Switch Online. I was so stoked for this. Like I said, I don't know how much I'll be playing, but I'm definitely getting the peripheral, and I think it's so cool they decided to add this. It's so cool.
And one thing I respect about Nintendo is, one, they have dumb money so they can do whatever they want, but they're also kings of just making things that no one's ever asked for, but somehow still selling them. You know, Labo, Virtual Boy on. I mean, nobody was like, I can't wait to get the Virtual Boy titles anywhere. No one's ever asked for them. But I can't wait. Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think it's incredible, especially with a peripheral. The fact that they could have just dropped these and you played them on Switch 2 at a distance. Right. The fact that they even made a peripheral is insane. They even made a cardboard version of it so that you could just print it out if you do not want to purchase the plastic version. Nintendo, you're crazy. You're crazy for doing this.
And we love you for it. We love you for it.
We love you so much. Fatal Frame 2 is getting a full Switch 2 remake called Fatal Frame 2 Crimson Butterfly. It will be out early next year. I've actually never played a single Fatal Frame, which is fascinating because I love those Resident Evil games and I'm liking the Silent Hill games. Probably should take a look at them. This might be my starting point because this looks pretty fun. If you know anything about Fatal Frame, it has no combat. It's very heavy on hiding and using a camera to see ghosts and stuff. It looks fascinating.
Uno, it's definitely worth a playthrough because, again, there's something just so eerie and creepy about Fatal Frame. Like you were saying, again, you have no weapons. All you can really do is defeat or eliminate or capture these ghosts with a camera. It is such a scary game, and it was scary back on the PlayStation 1. So with these updated graphics on Switch 2, this looks horrifying in all the right ways. Again, this is a title I was not expecting, but definitely want to check out.
A bunch of games are getting Switch 2 upgrades. Overcooked 2, Stardew Valley is getting mouse control and 4-player co-op. Human Fall Flat's getting a bunch of extra stuff. And One Piece Pirate Warriors is getting more characters on screen. So we are seeing at least Switch 1 titles getting extra content for Switch 2. That's very fascinating. We got to see Power Wash Simulator 2, which we already knew was happening, but they gave us a ballpark of when it will be happening. It will feature split screen online as well as 2-player split screen story co-op on couch co-op this autumn. So we're not that far away. Probably October, November is what that means, because September 21st it switches over. So probably seeing that soon, but no exact date. Very excited for that. I'm a big Power Wash Simulator guy. All right, here comes the big boys. We already knew Metroid Prime 4 was coming. I also knew it had to be coming soon because it was playable on the floor at Gamescom, so I was wondering, when is that going to happen? Well, we got multiple announcements from this. First, it comes out December 12th this year. Very exciting. We're finally going to play Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. this very year. It comes out with an amiibo, 3 different amiibos, Samus, a different suit Samus, and Samus on a motorcycle, because the direct video that they showed shows that, one, Samus rides a motorcycle, and it's an open world game that looks like Mad Max, that every time you pop off the vehicle, you are then put into the first person mode that is so customary to Metroid Prime. This looks... I don't understand how we haven't seen any of this mode until now. It looks incredible, and it also looks like this will be a massive game based solely on the fact that you can now traverse large lands with your motorcycle.
Exactly. Up until this point, we were very excited about Metroid Prime 4. It looked great, but graphically it looked awesome. The gunplay looks really, really cool. But again, no idea that this is going to be a pseudo open world game now too, which is just wild. I think it's an awesome concept. I think as long as we get those Metroidvania aspects, which I'm sure we will, it's going to be so cool. The open world aspect got me so excited for this. I'm so pumped.
Me too. Metroid Prime 4 definitely, and honestly, December 12th, it might have a 2-week window for making Game of the Year as well, at least for me. I think I'm going to allot it the time, because I only started playing the Metroid Prime games when the Switch releases came out, the remastered version, and those games are... No wonder everyone was speaking so highly of them. They're incredible. Then, and this one kind of caught me completely off guard, Donkey Kong Bonanza paid DLC, and not just paid DLC, it's out today. Donkey Kong Bonanza, DK Island, and Emerald Rush is a DLC pack that you can get on Switch 2. The game came out in late July, and I can't believe we're already getting DLC for it. It features a new challenge mode that looks super interesting that is about mining as many things as humanly possible, and it features DK Island from all of the previous games from the television show from DK64 that you can completely explore, and features a ton of nods to the previous games. You see a ton of characters. I've yet to explore it. I've actually downloaded it and I'm ready to go and do it.
Oh, nice.
But I have not jumped into it. We'll probably talk about it next week. But fascinating that one, I didn't think we'd see any new Donkey Kong Bonanza this quickly.
Nope.
And it does look like an incredible mode. I wouldn't be surprised, considering how well this has done, if we don't get a second piece of DLC in the future as well. Super exciting.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And again, Uno, you'd mentioned this before, but the base game of Donkey Kong Bonanza is so huge with so much content already. So this DLC being added, and then also immediately, was just absolutely mind-blowing. And it looks great. The modes look really fun. New collectibles to get, new outfits to get. It's so amazing. More DK Bonanza is always a good thing. Always a good thing.
And then if you thought that wasn't enough, well, we got a bunch of Pokemon news, too. A brand new Pokemon game called Pokemon Pokopia, which is, honestly, this might be what has sold me on getting it looked like Minecraft and Stardew Valley.
Yep.
And Animal Crossing, but it featured a bunch of Pokemons that you can physically have around you. So it's not just like in a menu or something. They could be on your farm. And you play as Ditto, that transforms into a very wacky looking human being. So it has like very fun animations. That's like an oversimplification of what it probably is, but it looks incredible. That has been announced. There is no date on that quite yet, but they did also announce that we will be getting a Pokemon ZA Legends DLC called Mega Dimensions. They showed at least 3 new Pokemons on there, and I believe that is coming out next year, and we will get more details very, very soon. So if you're a Pokemon fan, that does not end. It continues forward. We also got, this one's just for me, I think. Danganronpa 2 is coming to Switch 2, which is a game I absolutely love. It's a classic, it's a murder mystery game, visual novel. But the incredible thing is that they are remaking it with more visual aesthetics and a second story without disclosing anything about Danganronpa. I am so fascinated that they just took an old game and are tacking on a complete separate story mode to it, that will change the entire murder mystery aspect with different killers, different deaths, different trials. very exciting for that. That is coming out next year as well.
Uno, I thought of you right away. I got to play this game. I got to play it.
You're gonna. I mean, it's a very interesting one. The only issue is that they are fairly lengthy. So get ready. Get ready to at least 40, 50 hours of reading dialogue and looking at murder for sure. And then the last big three things, we saw Monster Hunter Stories 3, which will be coming out to Switch 2 on March 13th. That's the monster battling series, but this is the RPG version of it. I have not played any of these games, but it does look very, I would say, visually, it is very nice. But this one is definitely for us. Resident Evil Requiem, that's right, Resident Evil 9 is coming to Switch 2, as well as 7 and 8 will be coming at the same dates, all three coming out on February 27th. But the thing that was the most fascinating about this is that we have seen a bunch of Resident Evil in the last few months. I was not anticipating new footage of Resident Evil Requiem, new footage of gameplay, different monsters. And I think the biggest announcement to me was this is a mansion game. This is like Resident Evil 2. This is about entering a house and moving around the house and finding secrets and avoiding monsters. Like, this is exactly what I want out of a Resident Evil game. Very excited for this one.
100%. I did not expect for a second. I was really excited when Requiem got announced for Switch 2. I'm like, oh my God, that's incredible. But the fact that we got, 2 minutes of like new footage was incredible. Absolutely incredible. So the more I see of this game, the more hyped I get. I am in day one for sure. Resident Evil 9 can't get here soon enough.
We're only 5 months away, which doesn't seem that far away, especially, it does when you consider there's at least 15 games I have to play between now and then, because every game is being released in the next few months.
Well, I think by February I'll be starting Act 2 of Silksong, probably.
Yes, yeah, probably, or Act 4, wherever. Who knows where we'll be?
Don't tease me, dude. Don't tease me.
For all I know, I still haven't seen a review of the game, so who knows? Who knows how long this thing is? And then the final thing they revealed, it seems like every Direct has one, but we're getting a new Fire Emblem that's called Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave that comes out next year. That is another in the fantasy series that is a turn-based RPG. I've never played any of these. Everyone always tells me they're incredible. I feel it's so daunting because there's so many of them. So if you're in the chat and you know this is a good starting point for me, let me know, youtube.com/AEW Games. I would like to get in this. So if this is not the starting point for it, let me know what it is. Please don't say game one, because that is going to scare me. That's too daunting. If there is a easy way to get into this game series in the last 5 years, I would love that. But this looks great. Visually, it looks stunning. It looks very Zelda-esque, at least as far as animations.
And too, I know that when Fire Emblem 3 Houses came out, that was a lot of people's game of the year.
Yes,
people
it was.
Just raved about it. So I understand the excitement completely. I also don't have any experience with any Fire Emblem games, but I really do want to give them a try. I really do. And I'm sure, again, this is very exciting for Fire Emblem fans. It looks like a huge brand new Fire Emblem game.
Yeah. Very exciting. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you're getting a lot of stuff. Plus, we're getting another Direct very soon for Air Riders. I got to start calling it the proper name. All that is coming out very soon. And we're getting a bunch of games in the next 4 months. It is a good time to own a Switch 2. So if you have not picked one up, now is not a bad time to get it before the holidays. That's actually not it for all of the news. We actually have more news, including now a bad piece about Nintendo, at least in my opinion. Nintendo has gone on to put in a patent for essentially summoning other characters in battles. Now, this is an uncontested patent that a lot of people within the industry are saying could be a threat to creativity and innovation in the future of the industry. And so this is obviously a simplified version of this, but they went for a patent in early September, they received that patent in early September and was submitted back in March. So 2 years ago, they've been trying to get this. Essentially, on console or a PC, if you have to have a character that is your main character. If that character is capable of summoning another character, for example, a little monster like a Pokémon, for it to fight for you or maneuver for you as a sub character, they now own the patent to that, which means you can Pal World would fall under that umbrella, which also means, and this is maybe me fear mongering at this point, but Final Fantasy summon system.
That's what I was gonna say.
That's the first thing I'm thinking.
Yes.
What am I supposed to do if Final Fantasy doesn't advance with the cool summons?
Especially like 16 like featured so much of the summons, and it was so awesome and so cool. I can't, and maybe I haven't read enough information about this, but I can't imagine a world where this patent goes through. That's like so many games. Like, so they have it. So like Final Fantasy can't use summons?
They applied it 2 years ago, so they already have it. So theoretically, it's only what they decide to oppose. I think that comes I think that comes from their ongoing issues with Pal World. So truthfully, I think this is a step in that lawsuit with Pal World. But
I understand. Okay.
And also probably in a bunch of modding, because Nintendo is real strict when it comes to modding their video games. And so I'm sure in some aspects it touches that. But it is vague enough that it could pose a threat to a lot of other stuff. And if you're an independent who is currently making a game that has like Pokemon style mechanics, you're kind of screwed. Like you don't want to release that stuff because Nintendo has the most money to oppose you. And then on top of that, now they have the legal grounds to do it as well. I'm not for this. I think this is wild that they got this. And maybe there's a criteria in this that makes it more precise than what we know. But at the moment, if it is the way we think it is, that is alarming, at least to future generations of developers.
That's really what I'm hoping. And I'm thinking that's got to be the case because, again, not to keep bringing up Final Fantasy, but like the idea of Final Fantasy games not being able to use summons seems so absolutely wild to me and something Nintendo would most likely never go after. But like you said, maybe reading into it further instead of it being just a vague umbrella of different ideas. But that is incredibly interesting. Interesting.
It might be like a precise limitation that doesn't make this as terrifying. But at this very moment, with the information at least that we've read, it is a very scary situation. At least, very scary. As far as like we're going to get a whole chunk of games that will not exist anymore, based solely on this.
Right.
And then our last two things I want to talk about is Acclaim. You might know them. They made a lot of wrestling games. They made a lot of games in the Super NES era as well as PS1 era. Are back. And they now have announced that they've got 9 new games coming out. We're not going to talk at length with all of the games, but a lot of them they're all independents. They've got Toss Down, they've got Ground Zero Hero, Basketball Classics. They have a wide variety of stuff. The only game that I was very fascinated with the things that I've seen is called Hyper Yuki Snowboard Syndicate, and it looks like Jet Set Radio, except you are on a snowboard. It looks very cool. So if you get a chance, I would say go check that out. To be announced, none of these actually had dates. Every single one was a to be announced in the future. With the exception, I think the only one they released was Basketball Classics, which is an old game that they've now redropped, now currently on Switch. But yes, Acclaim is back. They've got 9 games. If you want to go check it out, they have publicly released all 9 games that they will be publishing very soon. And then this is in conjunction with the thing we're going to reveal of the top 5 PS1 game sales. Here are the all-time top 20 best-selling PlayStation games in both dollars and units in the U.S. So this covers all PlayStation consoles from January 95 all the way to July 25. That is the latest metrics we have. I'm going to start with dollars made, and then we'll go units sold, because I think units sold is more impressive than dollars made. Starting off, 20 going down. Number 20, GTA Vice City. Number 19, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is number 18. Then you're going to get a slew of these. You're going to see a lot of these. 17 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. 16 is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, but the 2023 version. 15 is Call of Duty Black Ops 4. 14 is World War 2. 13 is Call of Duty Black Ops. 12 is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. 11 is Marvel Spider-Man. 10 is Guitar Hero 3 Legends of Rock. which
Nice.
great to see. 9 is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. 8 is Call of Duty Black Ops 3. 7 is Minecraft. 6 is Black Ops Cold War. 5 is Black Ops 6. 4 is Modern Warfare 2. 3 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Ooh.
Number 2 of the most dollars made is Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That's the 2019 release. And number 1 is Grand Theft Auto 5.
Of course.
The most fascinating thing for me in this is I didn't realize how much money the Marvel Spider-Man games were doing for Sony.
Right. Yeah, you talk about a very important, huge franchise financially. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
like all the games are in the top 20.
Exactly. And like Call of Duty, not surprised. That's always been a huge release.
Grand Theft Auto, not
surprising. Red Dead Redemption, not surprising at all. Guitar Hero, a little surprising. I'm glad it made the list. But by far, the Marvel Spider-Man for me was the most fascinating of all. Now, units sold. So this is the most amount of games sold. So it is not the money made from it. This is strictly on amount. So by far, if you're number 1, that means you are the most played game. Number 20 in units sold. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, number 19. Call of Duty World War II, number 18. Call of Duty Black Ops 2, number 17. Rainbow Siege, number 16. Call of Duty Black Ops, number 15. The Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, not surprising.
Oh, yeah.
Number 14, God of War from 2018. The Last of Us is number 13. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is number 12. 11 is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Modern Warfare 2, the 2022 release, is number 10. Number 9 is Vice City, Grand Theft Auto. Number 8, Black Ops Cold War. Number 7, Black Ops 3. Number 6, Marvel Spider-Man. And now our final 5 of most units sold in the US are number 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the 2019 release. Number 4, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Number 3, Red Dead Redemption 2. And not surprisingly, number 2, Minecraft, and number 1, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yep, yeah. Exactly.
Those top 3, not surprised at all. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Once again, though, Miles Morales and Spider-Man sold way more than I anticipated, more than Last of Us. And Last of Us, I thought, was a big heavy seller for them. It looks like...
Which it still is.
It still is, for sure. It's probably top 30. We probably just missed it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So very fascinating. And we will get to what the top 5 PS1 sales will be right after we get to our arcade mailbag, and right after this. Welcome back. It is time for the Arcade Mailbag, our favorite segment of the show. And as always, brought to you by our friends over at upperdeck.com. Unlock the thrill of discovering autographed memorabilia of elite wrestlers and champions. As always, we have a brand new pack of metal. Those are the recent iterations of cards that we've had. They've got that cool sheen. What do we have today, Mr.
We got a great pack here, Uno. I love these cards.
Tony Nese, looking oily as ever.
Look at that.
Nick Wayne.
How shiny
this is a cool one. A trios card, but it's all commentary. Tony Schiavone, Nigel, and Daddy Magic.
Ooh.
What's that say under name? Smooth?
Smooth. It says smooth.
With
John Moxley Smooth.
A smooth card. And that is Mr. James Drake.
Gary, yes. And I think that's... nope.
And we got
more
Nyla Rose as well. One last card there.
There we go. Look, all shiny. Shiny. So
one of the most visually stunning deck of cards we've opened for sure.
Yeah.
The metal is a very, very good looking card. If you want more, well, there is more, because the Upper Deck Authenticating 2025 AEW Monumental Box contains 3 carefully handpicked memorabilia pieces with the chance to win a VIP fan experience. Elevate your memorabilia collection and chase a variety of items from Adam Page, MJF, Kenny Omega, Sting, Tony Storms, Mercedes Moné, and many more. You can find that and everything else, including the metal packs and the previous packs, at upperdeckstore.com. Click the link in the show notes and grab your AEW Monumental Box today. As always, Chugs, we've got 2 questions, but before we get to, or actually we only have 2 questions today, but before we get to our questions, we posed a question earlier today where we said, what is the top 5 best-selling PS1 games in the U.S.? coming from
Yes.
our producer's quiz. Now, let us remind them what we thought. I believe I thought Grand Theft Auto 2, Final Fantasy 7, Crash Bandicoot, Metal Gear Solid, and Legend of Dragoon. Those were my 5.
And I was very confident, or you said Gran Turismo 2.
I said 2,
not
yes,
Grand Theft
yeah.
Auto 2.
Yeah.
So I said Gran Turismo, Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy 8.
Yes.
That was my top 5.
Well,
that was my top
now,
5.
and maybe we add in a drum roll here. Maybe our producers do something else, but we will see. Your top 5, going from 5 going to number 1. Tekken 3.
Oh,
Yep.
of course.
Number 4, Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
Oh,
Number 3, Gran Turismo 2. So that's now
There it
1
is.
for me as of yet. Number 2, Final Fantasy 7. That's 1 for you, 2 for me. And number 1, you were right, Gran Turismo 1.
let's go.
There you go. We both got 2 each.
Both got 2.
Both of us remembering that Gran Turismo was a hot seller. I remember when it came out. It was unreal to play. It felt like the future of gaming at the time.
Yes, absolutely mind-blowing. I remember my dad at the time hadn't really been gaming, and we had a PlayStation 1, but he saw Gran Turismo and was like, whoa, I gotta
Yes.
play this. And I do remember reading in my video games textbook, the history of video games, I do remember reading that Gran Turismo, I couldn't remember if it was 1 or 2, but I remember that Gran Turismo was the best-selling PlayStation 1 game. So yeah, very cool. I love that we did that. I love that we had those questions, or that question to try to answer. That was great.
If you like the producer's quiz, let us know in the comments down below, and we'll bring it back episode
Yes.
per episode.
Yes,
We got
if
2
you like
questions
it, please
today,
let us know.
Chugs. Who we got?
Yep. We got question number 1 from Matt. Matt, thank you for the question. Matt says, hey, Chugs and Uno, love the work you guys are doing on the podcast. Thank you, Matt. I have you guys to thank for saying great things about Lies of P, and I decided to download it for free off of PlayStation Plus. I'm so glad you did. And I'm really enjoying it, even though I'm not the biggest Souls-like gamer. The PlayStation Plus is currently celebrating its 15th year and have been giving us free games each month. My 3 favorite free games I've enjoyed in the past are Little Nightmares 2, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, and most recently, Immortals of Averum. Not to mention AEW Fight Forever. All great choices. My question to you guys is, what's been your favorite 3 free games to come off of PlayStation Plus? Thanks for listening and continue to keep up the great work. Matt, that is such a good question. And trying to rack my brain around the different PlayStation Plus games I've gotten. Once again, you're absolutely right. It's such an incredible feature where you get to try out games that you really, really enjoy, or that you may enjoy. And actually, every single game I'm listing here, I started on PS Plus and then ended up enjoying it so much that I ended up actually purchasing the game itself. But number 1 was Until Dawn. Loved that decision-based horror game. I played that. I think that was the first PlayStation Plus game I ever downloaded, actually, and really, really loved it. Neo 2 was another one that I got off of PlayStation Plus. And again, that game is incredible. Neo is so difficult, Souls-like game. And actually, speaking of Crash Bandicoot, I know we talked about Crash Bandicoot 3. Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time was another PlayStation Plus game for me. So again, these are huge titles that you're getting the chance to try and experiment with. And again, the titles you listed, Matt, were great also. But man, there's so many. I'm trying to remember them all, but that's the 3 that come to mind for me.
So I actually had to do a little research into the games that have been released, and mine was based mostly on how much time I put into it. And the top 3 for me were Balatro came out on PS Plus, and I had already owned it on a bunch of systems, but not on PlayStation. That did not stop me from playing 100 plus hours on the PS Plus version of Balatro on PlayStation. Well worth the time if you have not picked it. The other that I picked was Fall Guys. I remember it came out the day Fall Guys debuted, and I think if it was not for the PS Plus offering it for free, it would not have the user base it has today and probably would not have blown up the same way it did today. I was completely enamored with Fall Guys for the first 2 months it came out.
Oh, yeah.
And even now, I think we still jump back into it once or twice a year as a group. Really enjoyed that. And my final one I want to mention is a game that I did not anticipate putting so much time into it, but Chivalry 2 came out on PlayStation Plus, had an online mode that all you do is run around, scream, and swing swords at each other. And me and my friends got really invested into it. Would put our headsets on, would wildly scream at each other and try to behead each other. I played tons of time of Chivalry 2. One of my favorite games I've ever picked up from PS Plus. And that, like, honestly, if you do not have PS Plus, there's a lot of great games on there too.
Yeah.
It's up to you which one you prefer between Xbox and it also depends on your console. But I do think it's well worth your time, especially because it gives you the opportunity to play also online games on PlayStation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Matt, great question. Thank you. And now we have one more question. Once again, thank you all so much for sending in these questions. This is me and Uno's favorite part. We love these discussions so much. Last question is from Ryan. Ryan says, hey, Chugs and Uno, just want to first say that I always look forward to Mondays when a new podcast drops. So thank you. Ryan, I appreciate it. My question is, knowing that Sony and Xbox have the inner workings of a new console coming in the next few years, what video game franchise that you were convinced was dead in the water and would never come back, whether because the devs said they wouldn't or because the lack of funds, would you want to see resurrected from the dead as a launch title for the new consoles? This is great. My choice would be BioShock, because although we have adaptations such as Judas, Clockwork Resolution, and Outer Worlds, we haven't had a true to the core BioShock game, and I feel like it would be a good bridge for gamers who played the original games and new gamers. What would be your game of choice? Thanks, Ryan. Ryan, first of all, let me just say I completely agree with your answer. We need a new BioShock. That would be so awesome. But thinking about this, again, this is turned into me talking about Crash Bandicoot a lot, but I love it. I would love on the PlayStation 6 for us to get a new, proper, huge, maybe even 3D version of Crash Bandicoot. After seeing games like Bonanza and Mario doing 3D and Astrobot doing 3D, I know we recently did get a Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. I don't recall how well that it did, but it was an excellent game. And I don't know if they're working on another Crash Bandicoot for the future. So I wouldn't say that franchise is necessarily dead, but it's also not thriving. And I want to see Crash Bandicoot thriving because I love those games. He's an incredible mascot. The games are so awesome. Once again, if you have not played Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time. It's awesome. I would love to see a brand new, awesome Crash Bandicoot title on the PlayStation 6.
Those are some great suggestions. I've been thinking about this. I actually came up with two. Both
nice.
of them have the same thought process behind it. That being, Capcom has done so incredibly well at remaking some of their games, and have been, honestly, they've been firing on all cylinders. RE9, Pragmata, all that stuff looks fascinating. They really seem to be having a great couple of years right now, and I could see them expanding their remake and their previous IPs. And what I would like to see, PlayStation specifically, I would like one of these two games. I would love to see either a remake or a continuation of Parasite Eve.
Ooh, good choice.
Yes, give me another story about the ultimate being Eve. I would love that. Or Dino Crisis, finally remade, finally getting a sequel. Any of the sort. I think either of those in these current times with the current graphics and like the scope of what games could be incredible. And I also feel like we're around that ballpark time where the people who have played this in the first iterations of PS1 are now old enough that they would purchase that and create new franchises with it. So those are both of my suggestions. I also think BioShock, 100%, Ryan, you were right.
Yeah.
I would kill for a new BioShock. That is an incredible choice, but I could not pick that. You already did it. So those are my two.
And Uno, one more comment, because this kind of goes in well so perfectly with the PS Plus thing, which we were talking about previously. But they did recently add Dino Crisis to PlayStation Plus.
They did.
And in my brain, I was like, maybe they're waiting to see how many people want to play the original Dino Crisis. And then if that does well, then they'll remake Dino Crisis. I'm so in that same camp. I want Dino Crisis remade. Capcom has been crushing the remakes. Please, that would be incredible.
Yes, please put in any of those new engines. All those engines have been great. I truly believe Capcom is doing some of their best work, and so I could see them making either of these games and them actually doing very, very well. Great choices, great questions today from both Matt and Ryan. Thank you very much. If you'd like your question answered in the future, you can go to tps.com/arcade mailbag. That is where you can send your questions for us so that me and Chugs can answer it at the end of our episodes. As always, every single Monday, an episode drops on podcast. Make sure you hit that subscription or hit that follow button so that you can be notified about it. You can also see the YouTube video format version of it, noon Eastern Standard Time, every Monday, youtube.com/AEW Games. Also, if you subscribe subscribe there, you can be notified about MXM's Bronami Code show. That's every Thursday on YouTube. We're also on Twitch, twitch.tv/AEW Games, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Monday. A group of us play video games. We just recently played Need for Speed Remastered, Hot Pursuit. Incredible game to replay. Go check those out. The clips are everywhere on our social media. You can also find us on Twitch. I will be on twitch.tv/eviluno. This Sunday is our Big Mystery Wrestling 18 event live from Toronto, sold out Toronto. Come and check it out. You never know who could appear. Twitch.tv/eviluno. Chugs, what will you be doing this week?
And you can find me at twitch.tv/thechugs. Once again, going through my 2-game cycle, going back and forth between playing Claire Obscure, Expedition 33, and of course, Hollow Knight Silksong. So if you're interested in hanging out, watching either of those games, please feel free to come stop by twitch.tv/thechugs.
And as always, a huge thank you to everyone that's been listening. We could not do this without you. Thank you for being along for the journey. And thank you for really supporting a positive video game podcast because there are very few of us. I hope you will be back next Monday for another episode of All Elite Arcade. We will see you then. Have a good week and bye-bye.